think that I am fairly entertaining or funny, and there's a joke I made that did not land at all, and I have to introduce you to this guitar first. Behold, Excalibur!
There it is, Excalibur.
Wow, 64 Fender Stratocaster in classic white with triple single coil pickups and a whammy bar.
This is a Wayne's World Strat. This came out in 1991. This is from Squier, made in Japan. This is made to look like 1964 Fender Stratocaster in classic white with 3 single coil pickups and a whammy bar. Now, that's how they describe it in the movie. Let's talk about this guitar. Before we do, make sure you subscribe down below. I'm Jeremy, I'm the Guitar Hunter. It's my mission in life to build a community of people that fill the world with music and friendship, that just find cool guitars and connect with each other along the way. This is a super cool guitar. Let's check it out. So the amplifier I'll be using is a PV Classic 20 with a 112 cabinet with a Celestion Vintage 30 inside it. Because I play it so loud, I need to have my hearing protection in and take care of your ears. I didn't take care of my ears very well, and now I have some tinnitus. Don't be like me, be smart. I do have a pedal board on the ground. I'll let you know if I use any of them. I don't think I will, but I mostly just want a volume pedal and a tuner. And so, with all of that said, let's rage. Wayne's World! Wayne's World 1 and 2 were some of my absolute favorite movies when I was growing up, especially just for my sense of humor. Just dumb, funny, goofy, music related. I mean, it's like this, Spinal Tap, School of Rock was late for me, but Tenacious D's first album, all of that just led to kind of a love of music and silliness and fun, and I saw music as just a fun way to be just ridiculous. And I loved it. So I've loved the Wayne's World movies. I've watched them over and over and over. It's been a minute since I watched the last couple, but when this guitar came up, I immediately knew I wanted to have it. So my friend Tom found this in Florida, and he called and said, hey, I found a guitar that I think you'd be really into. And I definitely am. Now, there's a joke that I made a couple years ago. Actually, it was about a year ago when this guitar came out. When the Fender American Pro 2 came out, I made a joke. I dressed up. I put on the light jeans. I put on a wig, and I took a picture next to Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Wow.
I'll put the picture up here. It was worthwhile. It was like during nap time for my kids, and my wife came down in the basement and took a picture of me. There was some production to it, and it didn't pan out. In the movie, if you haven't seen it, it came out in like 91. If you haven't seen it by now, you're probably not gonna see it. He dreams of owning this guitar. And
64 Fender Stratocaster in classic white with triple single coil pickups and a whammy bar.
Stop torturing yourself, man. You'll never afford it. Live in the now.
It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. Yes, my good man. I'd like to have a look at this Fender Stratocaster, please.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Again?
Yes.
Excuse me, Wayne. Can I put the fender back now, please?
Not today, my good man. I'm feeling saucy. I think I'm gonna buy it. Do you accept cash?
But it was basically a 64, and they say pre-CBS, so that'd be a 64 Strat. And so the Strat that they say is classic white, 3 single coil pickups. And so it's basically a guitar that he's just idolized and dreamed of owning, which I can't blame him. It's a super cool, iconic look, especially the white with the dark rosewood fingerboard. And then the confusing part, so in most of the other shots, Wayne plays a Washburn, like a very super stratty humbucker, locking trem, and the amp. I mean, it's just a very like heavy setup. But what's so interesting to me is just how different the kind of guitar that he wanted versus what he played. And that's fine and that's cool. What I love about this guitar is that this thing, I mean, it is not shreddy, it is not metal at all, but this is definitely a really cool 60s guitar. Now this is also made in Japan, so there's a whole other conversation, and I'll probably film another video just talking about Japanese Squiers and Fenders and how they are so much quality as far as the neck and the body go. They're such a good deal. You get so much guitar for your money. So the way that this guitar sits now, it is bluesy and sweet and jangly and spicy. It's very trebly. I noticed I actually filmed some other stuff with this guitar yesterday, and it was so shrill that I decided to refilm some stuff because it's just so ear-piercingly high in those high frequencies. Now the thing that I found with Japanese Fenders, and I've owned many of them, I still own a pink Paisley sneaking right back here behind me, is that the tone woods, like the wood in the body and the neck and the finish, are all wonderful, way above their weight class. Where these guitars tend to fall short a little bit is the quality of the hardware. Like, so for example, this one has really cheap, very 90s import tuners. If it were me, I probably would switch this out, but this guitar lives in a world that's not quite guitar and not quite promotional item, so it's somewhere in between those, so you probably wouldn't want to mod it. But the other thing is, I know on my telly, the biggest corner that seems to have been cut is the quality of the pickups in the guitars, and then the volume pot and the hardware and all that stuff. So if you can swap out that, and with this, if you wanted to keep this the way it is, you basically could swap out the whole harness and keep everything soldered, everything connected. You could just take all of this out, and then if you were to ever sell it, you could kick it back. Now with that said, it's still, this thing really pulls a ton of proper inspiration and vibes from a 64 Strat. So the color is pretty close. The pick guard, it's a 3-ply guard. I think the original would have been a little more minty or parchment looking than this. The covers are not quite right for 60s. These are very square and they're also very yellow. That's fine. They've probably yellowed over time. The knobs they're fine. They're kind of a cream color. They're not quite white. So you have basically like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors of white or cream on this. But all in, it's very cool. The fingerboard on this guitar is stunningly beautiful. And it's more on the side, which is actually pretty cool because it's the coolest part is the part you would get to see all the time as a player. But anyway, this is the Wayne's World Strat. It is cool, it is weird, it pulls from a moment that inspired so many people to play guitar. And so, go watch Wayne's World. And yeah, if there's any lesson we can take from this, it is Garth saying,
Live in the now!
If you live in the now right now, you can find import guitars, you can find Japanese Strats. We are at the very edge. Like the strings playing the soundtrack to this guitar are at the highest fever pitch because they are about to break out, and they might have already started to. So if you can find one of these for $500-700, I think you should do it right away, because I think in 1 year we're gonna miss it, because this guitar is definitely part of the 30-year rule. I think this is like 28 years old now, 20 couple years old now. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy, I'm the Guitar Hunter. Go fill the world with music, friendship, become a patron. Patreon.com/Guitar Hunter. $3 a month. You can hang out with me, you get early access to videos, and this video literally does not happen without my patrons. Tom, one of my patrons, found this guitar, sent it to me, and I am so thankful for his friendship and support and kindness. Thanks also to all of my Ride or Die patrons, to Jose, to Andy, to Adam, to Gary, to Craig, to Tom. Thank you so much. All right, guys, have a great one. I will see you soon. Go fill the world with music and friendship.